Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Call of Cthulhu, Path of Perdition. My name is Alex Xander Rubitsky. I will be your keeper of arcane lore for this ongoing story. You may just call me the Keeper. I am joined by my lovely, talented friends from here at Internet Remix playing their delightful investigators. I am joined by the one and only Split Guardian. Guncock sound. The Foley is hilarious. I am also joined by Atwis.
Still not ready.
Still not ready. Of course, we are joined by Upgraded Moon, also known as Jordan. Indeed. There is Brodingles.
I'm still blissfully unaware.
And last but certainly not least, the inimitable Kristen Trzynski.
That's a good descriptor. I liked that. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Internet. If this is your first time joining us, first of all, what the hell are you doing here 3 episodes in with no knowledge of what's going on? Go to our YouTube channel, Internet Remix, or our Twitter, Internet Remix. Look us up. We have shows. Watch the other episodes. We love you. Subscribe. We are in the middle of our annual streaming event, Camp Streamix, where Team Annihilation, that is my team, Team Fallen and Team Murder, all have their various programs going, competing in good sportsman-like fun for points determined by various sources, be that donation amounts, or as well as fan art, writing submissions, all that fun goodies. If you want to learn more, check out our YouTube channel and our social media. You got all the information there. But all you need to know, as a bit of a primer, is that Team Annihilation show, this is what we got going on, and if you would like to donate any amount of bits, you may do so. We welcome it, and we are eternally thankful. If you don't feel like donating on stream, you can also donate to our coffee. Again, information is on our social media, so please check that out. So, first of all, I'd like to just say to my players, how y'all doing?
Oh, Peter.
Yes. We left off in a pretty unique and interesting circumstance, one might say. Last time, the investigation into the murder of Vito Castiglione began, as every one of the investigators and their mutual friend, well, not mutual friend, I should say, their associate Jackson Elias, began to look into the events that led up to the murder of the Chicago mobster Vito Castiglione, finding a trail of accounts from various passengers, finding Vito's cabin to determine cause of death, other clues, including a note left on a menu, including the room numbers of Mason, Sybil, and Kit. As well as Jackson's room. As well as investigating later on, the bodyguard of Vito Castiglione, Bosco, who was in the cabin next to Vito's and has strangely not been seen by anyone. The investigation yielded a couple of interesting details, namely a bloody knife in Bosco's empty cabin, a couple of missing teeth in Vito's cabin in the blood pool that you found him in. And while interviewing other passengers, hearing about various commotions that were heard in the night. But as the group was convening to discuss their next move, James and Jackson moved into the kitchen cabin to go, the dining cabin to find Bosco, where that a mutual acquaintance of theirs that they'd met on the train, one Lance Corporal Bertram Peck, said he was going to be after passing them in the hallway, but Bertram was not there. Simultaneously, in Sybil's cabin, she noticed that her luggage was missing. And the only thing that you found in her room was a luggage key that had seemingly fallen underneath her bed and definitely did not belong to her suitcases. When James and Jackson emerged, following up towards the front of the train into the baggage car, they saw Bertram kneeling on the ground with 2 suitcases in front of him, one of which had been busted open and possessed it was the contents of Sybil's suitcase, including some very fancy gold bracelets, necklaces, jewelry. But he was frantically searching his pockets for something and seemingly cursed under his breath. When James questioned this, you guys caught on the fact that his voice, the way he spoke with his malformed mouth shape, revealed that he was fully capable of speaking all the time. And when he stood up, he pulled out a Luger, the weapon confirmed to have been the gun that would have killed Vito Castiglione, and pointed it at James and Jackson. Mason, at that point, having looked for his friends, pulled out his gun, went into the baggage car, and saw Bertram pointing the Luger at James and Jackson, turning it then onto Mason, and saying in a completely normal voice, albeit with a German accent, said, "Mr. Allen, I would not do anything rash," and reached up towards his face and removed the prosthetic mask that would have hidden a soldier's disfigurements, revealing the familiar face to Mason of an associate named Peter Haas. And that is where we left off. And we're going to pick up right in that motherfucking spot, because that was a cliffhanger.
Let me just open up my character sheet. Okay, we're good.
So, yes. So, first of all, before we get any role play from you, Jordan, I'd like to hear when with the gun pointed at you, pulls off the mask, revealing it's Peter Haas. What is Mason immediately doing? Like, both physically and just like describe what's going on with him.
He's been kind of like advancing forward. The second that he saw the gun, when he stepped into the room, he was kind of like advancing forward. The second that he pulled that fucking mask off, Mason just kind of went like, "Oh shit." Just a big old oh shit moment. He didn't like drop the gun or anything, but like he.
Yeah. And
oh shit.
In this pause, you kind of like lower your gun a little bit. Peter, who now has the gun fully fixed on you, he says, "I would highly advise, if you would be so kind, Mr. Allen, is to lower your gun."
As long as you have a gun pulled on me, I got a gun pulled on you, buddy. Isn't that the way that the world works?
No need to be hasty here, Mason. This does not need to get violent and chaotic, but I assure you, I will not be lowering my gun anytime soon. So don't do anything you might regret. James, you have your hand up here. What's up?
I do, because I don't want to interrupt the wonderful
Absolutely.
stuff in between. But is there any cover directly near?
You are in a baggage car. There are stacks of like suitcases filling the area. Yes, there is cover around here.
I would like to hold an action to jump for cover the second shit starts popping off.
Okay, so holding actions is a little different in Call of Cthulhu. You can narrate very much like what you're planning to do, like if something goes wrong. And I believe the only bonus you get to your initiative is if you have a gun drawn, but you can basically be like, when shit goes wild, I'm leaping for cover. So we will resolve that as that comes up. Okay, cool. So, excellent. Yeah, so Peter has the gun focused over on you, but it's not like he's not completely ignoring James and Jackson. He's kind of just keeping in your immediate vicinity since you have the gun. He kind of like takes a couple steps back and like kneels back and like fumbles around for the suitcase and like Sybil's suitcase and like clutches like a handful of jewelry and just goes, "Now, the way I see it, we can end this completely amiably with no additional bloodshed, no panic, no mess. There's no reason for any of us to walk away from this anything other than happy."
We can't come to a compromise. Just put her shit down.
Why?
I've got shit of my own.
Can't come to a compromise? Over what? The murder of an asshole an absolute scheisser who, frankly speaking, had it coming.
I couldn't give a shit about Vito Castiglione. No, what I'm talking about is the shit that you're taking from Sybil's bag.
Yes.
We can come to a compromise
See.
about that. I've got shit of my own. If you want something, I can give you something.
Are you offering... Mason, real quick, are you lying or are you being, like, straight up?
I'm being genuine.
Okay. Okay, cool. Peter kind of, like, falters and just goes, like, no funny business, Mr. Allen?
No funny business. To be frank, we've dealt with a lot of shit, and honestly, it's nice to see a familiar face. I thought you were vampire food, to be completely honest. But this doesn't have to happen like this.
No, you are correct. It does not have to happen like this. However, you see, as long as it's on the table, I only wish to walk out of here with some more monetary wealth. To be entirely fair, it was not exactly personal to Sybil. She seemed like the one who did not need the money the most out of all of you. Relatively speaking, of course.
Put her shit back.
And you're going to give me what some of you have?
I have some of the same kind of stuff. Just put her stuff back.
Can you give me a persuade check? This entails a few
Are you
minutes.
fucking kidding me?
Wow, what the
Shit.
fuck? Damn.
Oof! Ouchie, mama!
Christ.
He goes, how do I know that when you leave this cabin, Mr. Allen, you're not going to summon some sort of authority, be it the conductor or any more of your compatriots or associates from Peru? Apologies.
To be quite frank, the conductor's a little incompetent, I won't lie. He doesn't really know how to handle a crowd, much less a gun in his face.
It's true.
We're fucking tired, man. You have no idea.
I myself find a lack of rest. But I'm not leaving this train until I have more money. So what is going to happen now, Mr. Allen, is I am going to stand right here in this cabin with this baggage. And if you want to bring me another one from which I can take a cut, I will be right here. But I am not going to let my guard down for one moment. Not since all of this went to shit.
What do you mean all of this went to shit?
Not
You
since...
left just as things got started. Since Peru?
No. Peru was something else entirely, Mr. Allen. Frankly speaking, I thought you were all dead. At least, that is the opportunity our dear benefactor presented me with before I left. Either leave the expedition with some gains, I think of which you already know, or I can continue with the rest of you and die. No offense, Mr. Allen, but I took the option of my own life over the rest of yours, and I got out of there, and I was, honestly speaking, content to assume that Mr. Larkin held true and you were all very dead. But then, you see, a little worm told me that you were still alive. And I need money very badly, Mr. Allen. I am in a terrible position, and Mr. Castiglione, one of my debtors, came calling, and I told him that I knew exactly where to find 3-4 people who had a lot of fucking money with them. And the
A letter would have did you good.
Yeah.
Something, anything.
Yeah, it would have, but there was very little time. And so, Mr. Castiglione and I came to an agreement. You had more than enough money to cover my debts and make it interesting to him, so it was an agreement. Nothing was supposed to go wrong. It was supposed to be simply, we grab for your suitcases and we disappear into the hills. I, a free man, and Vito, significantly wealthier. However, little thing about these American gangsters, Mr. Allen. They're cocky, and they are rude. Mr. Castiglione said a few things that he knew he would regret, and things I could not abide. Next thing I know, there's a gun in my hand and I'm shooting him. So that's his...
Jackson, if you go to my cabin, there's a bag that's blue, purple, it's got gold metal on it. Grab that and bring it over here, please. That's mine. Both of you, please.
If the nice German man will stop pointing the gun at me.
He's got his gun on me. Look, they're gonna go get the bag. You and I will stay right here.
Jackson looks at you. Jackson looks at you, Mason, and says, "Mason, are you sure about that?"
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Jackson gives you a look, James, in kind of like a slight nod. All right. Well, just both of you get along, ladies. You're both beautiful. And Jackson turns to dip out of the baggage cabin with James.
The second that the door
fine.
closes, Mason
Great
shoots
fine.
his gun.
Oh!
The second that the door closes, Mason shoots his gun. He's panicking.
Okay.
The second
Okay.
the gun fires
Okay,
off,
no,
James
okay.
takes out his own.
For sure. All right. Okay. Okay, Jordan. Okay. Jordan,
I had to
okay.
get them out of
Okay,
the room.
Jordan. Jordan, okay.
Panic!
Okay, so here's how this works. Give me 1 minute here for a... Oh, God. Hold on.
God.
Damn it.
Hold
Everything's out the
on.
window. Everything's out the fucking window.
Yep, hold on. You know what? I roll with it. I roll with
serious.
it. Let me just
I'm
change the
serious.
music very quickly. All right, so...
Sure.
So, the way that we're going to resolve this, first of all, this is going to first be just immediately with Mason and Peter, and then we're going to get, we can get Jackson and James involved. So the way that initiative works in Call of Cthulhu is you just add up everybody's, like, dex scores and go in order of highest to lowest.
Yeah.
You and Peter both have your guns drawn. So whenever you have a readied firearm in Call of Cthulhu, your dex gets a plus 50 for the sake of determining initiative. So
Shit,
with
I'm at
your-
105 dex.
105 dex.
105.
Give me 1 second to pull up Peter's information really quickly.
Peter's dex gonna be higher.
Peter's dex is actually higher.
Fuck
So-
me. Oh shit.
Hold on. Okay.
Does it count as a surprise attack?
It does not
Because
because you're
it's-
both pointing guns at each other.
Okay.
Okay. I will be corrected if I get any of this wrong. So
It doesn't count as a surprise attack.
I'm gonna take a
Weren't expecting that,
huge-
motherfucker!
1 second. I'm gonna take a huge fucking gulp of water. So give me 2 shakes just to hydrate after that.
Well, my mouth went dry too.
And
I'm watching the cameras and I'm just like, ah.
okay. So I expect to be corrected if I get this wrong, but I'm assuming this is how this is gonna go down. So because you very clearly, like, as soon as the door closed, you're like ready to fire this. Like you are so
my
prepared.
gun's been pointed.
to, like, yeah.
My finger is on the trigger. Just the door closed and it just pulled.
Excellent. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this would not qualify as surprise, unfortunately, because you're both got guns pointed at each other, and your persuasion check did not get him to lower his guard. So he is on it. So he has a trigger finger at the moment. So as like a fraction of a second before you fire your gun, Peter clocks that your fingers twitching over the trigger and begins to squeeze, and he just goes, no! And he like repulsively fires his gun at you. So he's gonna fire a single shot at you.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Atwis knows the rules pretty well. So Atwis, if I get anything wrong, please correct me.
God.
Roger.
I
Okay.
was trying to brush up on the gunplay side of combat through that tutorial. I'm trying to remember. Oh no, there's a separate section for gunfight specifically. Shit.
So, oh no, that's an extreme success. Okay, so I'm gonna. So here's what happens with firearms, by the way. Let me get my
fucking
Call of Cthulhu.
The game wanted Mason to die. The game wanted him to die.
So there's two things. There's two things I need to address here. Good news, bad news. It's not really good news. More like tepidly lukewarm news. So the bad news is, so on extreme successes with a weapon attack, your weapon does. It's called, if you have an impale weapon, which usually involves things like bullets, knives, things that, you know, are into another person's body, you deal impalement. Impalement is the weapon's maximum damage plus an additional damage roll.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy
fuck.
but
I'm referring to my combat things. So when you are shot at, you cannot, in most other attacks in Call of Cthulhu, you can oppose an attack. Firearms cannot be opposed. So you may choose to dive for cover, which basically what that means is you forfeit your next turn by choosing to dive for cover, because it's like you leap out of the way and like you fall down, you're like lying on the ground. Your next turn passes without you being able to do anything. So that's what diving for cover means, but that requires a successful dodge roll. What is your dex score? Sorry, real quick.
My dex score is 55.
55? 1 second. Let me double check something.
Dude.
Looks at dodge.
Just so the chat knows, like, Xander is, like, panicking trying to figure out how to do something right now.
Okay. So.
Okay.
You are, I'm going to say that you were 15 feet away from him. You are lucky because you cannot dive for cover when you are 1/5 of your dex close to them. That means you are currently, if he was within 11 feet of you, you couldn't dive for cover. However, he's 15 feet from you, so you can. So, if you want to attempt to dive for cover, you may. So far, am I getting this correct, Atwis?
15 feet point blank? Isn't that point blank, and then does he have an advantage because of point blank?
I don't believe that he has point blank here. However, what I will say is, 1 second, sorry, hold on.
Point blank is 1/5 of the shooter's dex in feet.
Okay.
Yes, in feet. So like and he has a higher dex than you, which means that he. Actually, this actually will determine this. Hold on, his dex is a 75. Actually, this is point blank, but it is kind of a moot point because point blank for him would give him a bonus die. He's already rolled the highest success he can, so it'd be kind of a redundant to give him a bonus die. However, but the target of the attack, it is their 1/5 dex that allows them to dive for cover. So you, if you want to try making a dodge check, can try to dive for cover.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna dive for cover.
Make a dodge roll if you would be so kind.
Fuck me. Oh shit. Okay. I just looked at my dodge. Oh. Holy shit.
Okay. Cool. Cool. I need to check the rule book really quickly. Regarding diving for cover.
I'm so damn it, Mason.
First of all, sorry that I don't have this memorized. I'm very stressed at the moment.
There's a lot of rules in Call of Cthulhu.
There's a lot.
You didn't expect this to suddenly happen.
I expected it as a possibility. I did not expect that it was going to be an extreme success shot against him. Okay. So the way diving for cover works is, so yes, you may react by diving for cover. You may jump behind a physical barrier. You are throwing yourself on the side behind baggage. You make a dodge roll if this is successful. Okay, cool. So now he has a penalty die added to this roll. So I need to have him do it again with a penalty die. If he still succeeds, the shot still hits you even though you die for cover. However...
Fuck.
Yeah. Okay.
Holy shit.
Jordan, you rolled another character, right?
Jordan, if so help me, if I have to make another fucking portrait this early on, I'm gonna murder you.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Can't use her arms.
I
Yeah.
can't do the arms. I'll scribble it. I'll scribble it myself.
Thanks.
I'll do a little
Yeah, he gets a
scribble.
penalty dice.
Yo, hold on. If he dies, can we hold him to that? I want to hold him to that.
Okay. You are extremely lucky because that penalty dice was an 8, turning his roll from a 5 to an 85, which fails his check. So you are exceptionally lucky. That shot would have instantly killed you. No
That would have instantly
rolls.
killed him.
That would have instantly killed you. Okay.
Oh god.
Okay.
Oh god.
So
Holy fuck.
Yes. So this means yes. So after he fires, this means you forfeit your next attack.
my next attack.
Yeah. So if the only option available for you is to dodge further attacks. As like reacting to things. So, but cool. That's fantastic. You dive for cover. He fires out the shot, and un momento, por favor. Hold on. I was not prepared for this to happen this quickly, so my apologies, players and stream, as I frantically look at my GM screen telling me what happening.
What happened? What do?
So I'm seeing chat it's so funny because everyone's like freaking out, and then student in chat's like, don't fucking get into fights in COC. Guys, don't get into fights in COC if you can help it.
The regular ass humans, dude.
Okay.
Regular fucking
ass
humans.
In D&D, it's like whatever. In Call of Cthulhu, a fight is 100% a very real life or death situation.
Okay,
For
so
sure. I know, but like Mason is panicking right
So-
now.
I understand. I
have
understand the character
reasons.
choice.
From a meta
So-
point, I'd be like, no, I would definitely not do this. From a Mason point, he has a gun pointed at him right now.
Totally. So here's what happens next.
Please.
So after Peter fires that shot, he goes, shit, and he rushes to like scoop, like he like turned on like scoops his suitcase into his arms and looks like he's about to bolt. So that would revert then to your turn, Mason. But you already like
Yeah, so there's
no more
no
attacks.
action, but Mason does yell out, "The train's moving, motherfucker! Where are you gonna go?"
Excellent. Cool. Okay, so now that's resolved. Now those two immediate things. All right. James, what is your dex score, by the way?
Let me go ahead and pull that up real quick.
Yeah.
My dex score is a 60.
60. All right, so Jackson will go before you because he has a 65, which
That being said, can I just throw Jackson the extra gun I have?
he actually has a gun.
Oh, sick. Then I have two.
But as soon as you guys draw your guns after you hear the shot, so your readied firearm does not count for this round.
Sick.
However, because Peter has like let his gun down, he's not gonna get the dex bonus. Mason, your gun's like still like out, so I'm still. I know.
I've still got my fucking gun.
I might be incorrect. I think the dex bonus might only apply to the first round of combat, or if it's all rounds. So,
I believe it stays as
Okay,
long as
cool.
you have a firearm ready.
so that's gonna be. Then it's going to go. I'm gonna write this down real quick.
This man has a
Mason.
sheet of paper.
Yes,
Fucking
and I
Mason.
do. And then Peter, and then Jackson, and then James. Now, before we get into this real quick, we're only a couple of cars away from the rest of the party. Can I get from Kit, Sybil, and Sunil what is called a group listen check? All a group check is, whoever has the lowest listen value rolls the check.
Okay, let me check.
Mine is 35.
20.
It's probably Sybil, but let me double check. Oh, we have an equal listen. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll just roll it then.
Do it.
I did it. Why did it not work? There we go.
Yo!
Hey!
Holy shit! Okay. Then yes, Sybil, Kit, Sunil, you three of you hear a gunshot go off somewhere near the front of the train.
Let's go. Sybil's just simply
Sybil,
like,
what the
oh,
fuck?
that's a gunshot. Let's go.
Shit. Kit is actually going to. He still probably has his doctor's bag on him. He probably hasn't, left it behind. But Kit's gonna probably stop by his cabin to get his rifle.
Absolutely.
Damn, the whole fucking rifle.
So,
Shit.
so
What else do I have?
Absolutely. So,
He just pulls out that
just
shit.
to give an idea of positioning here. Sybil's cabin is in the frontmost sleeper car, which is immediately behind the dining car, which puts you guys 3 cars behind where the action's currently going down. Kit, your cabin with Mason is further back down the train, so if you have to run further back to get to your rifle in your cabin, just so you know.
Sunil, take this. And Kit will actually give Sunil Kit's medical supplies.
All right. Sunil will take them and be like, okay. Oh, God.
So
You know how
don't
to
worry.
do this.
I know how to do this.
God, you saying don't worry makes me worry more, Sybil.
Don't worry, I have a gun. We're good.
Fuck.
She has a gun, too?
Hearing the dog say "fuck."
It doesn't happen often, but this is one of those times.
Don't worry, I have a gun.
Takes a sip of wine. Fuck. Shit.
God damn it.
Okay, so after that gets resolved, all right. So Peter at the end of his round. And by the way, for those of you who have played like D&D or other similar initiative based combat like RPGs, Call of Cthulhu does not have a set amount of time that a turn in a round takes place in. It's not like, oh, a round is 6 seconds. It's like it is a nebulous amount of time that takes however long it takes you to complete what you can do. Okay, so I'm gonna be upfront with y'all. This sounds like we're pretty getting close to maybe starting a chase scene, depending on how this next round goes, because Peter has not fled yet because of what happened. So we're gonna resolve this round first as a combat round would happen, and then from there we'll see how things are. But a chase scene might start. We'll have to make some checks. I'm pulling up my fucking cheat sheet right now for the summary of combat. So just combat, just a summary again. You all get 1 action. That can be thing like attacking, dodging, fighting back, fleeing, etc. You could potentially do other things like interacting with objects, but generally it's you can move and you can do something, just pretty loosely what we got going on here. I'm not being the world's best GM right now because I'm fucking sweating, so we're just gonna hop into this.
You got this. We're good.
If you ever need something looked up, just
absolutely.
Xander's got a cork board in the background,
And
fucking ties everywhere.
I will also Pepe Sylvia. Anyway, and actually full disclosure, because now I just pulled up my notes again real quick. I will fully admit when I get something wrong. There should have been a check to determine if you had gotten a surprise attack, but I'll keep that in mind going forward. I did not aware. We'll move forward.
Happened already. It's no biggie.
Happened already. It is what it is. So after shooting at you, Peter fumbled around, tripped a little bit and scooped up not Sybil's baggage, but the one that he was trying to open, the closed one. So it's in his right hand he has his Luger, and in his left hand he's got a bundle of some of the jewelry that he snatched out of Sybil's baggage, and is fumbling with his suitcase, and he looks like he's trying to run further up the train towards a door. But now, Mason, it is your turn.
Okay, and this is after
This is after the forfeited attack action. Yeah.
Okay, so looking between all the shit, seeing that he's gonna make a run for it, Mason step backs out, fucking points the gun, fires another shot.
Cool. Can you give me a roll here? This is with your gun. Let me double check something very quickly before you do anything. Yes. Okay. Yeah, this is probably within your base range, and it is still. You're all good. Cool. Alrighty. Well, go ahead and give me that roll, good sir.
And that's the handgun roll for
Handgun roll, yes.
Little gun. God damn! I can't succeed a fucking roll.
Damn.
Shit.
To be fair, that is a 20%.
That's a
Possibility.
20%.
Yeah.
That's 20% possibility.
I don't even have a rifle or a shotgun. Why do I have 25 on that? Fucking shit.
It's by base, by default.
My base.
Yeah.
Why do I have better chances with a shotgun than I do with a fucking handgun?
Because shotguns have spread.
Because
Yeah,
shotguns have
that's a good point.
spread. Yeah. Okay.
Also,
So
you have to-
you fire off a shot. It just like ding dong, like ricochets off of the interior of the cabin. Completely misses Peter, who like looks back over his shoulder and just like frantic, wild
Peter, drop
panic.
your shit!
Shit. He is going to book it. So, and I'm gonna say this is kind of like Jackson and James. You guys enter at the same time, just for the sake of simplicity.
Beautiful.
All right. Let me consult the chase rules very quickly. All right. So, boy. Okay. So really quickly, if everybody could pull up their character sheets who are immediately in the vicinity. Kit, Sybil, Sunil, I'll get to you in a minute. Could you guys check to see what your move rate is? On your character sheets, it would probably be in your combat tab.
Combat, gotcha.
Yeah, your
7.
movement rate. 7, okay.
Fucking. Oop. There it is. Movement.
Yeah, just
7. Yeah.
7 from you, 7 from you. Peter's movement rate is... Not Peter, sorry, Jackson's, I meant to say. Is a 6. Damn, Jackson is slow. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Give me just a second here.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
I anticipated shit to go wild. I just forgot that I was dealing with Mason's trigger finger for a second.
It just went fucking wild. You're not dealing with Mason's trigger finger. You're dealing with Mason's fucking anxiety.
Yeah.
You're dealing with his anxiety,
Which is many.
which he doesn't know is a thing just yet.
You right.
He
You
just
right.
knows that the guy has a gun, and he's like, I have to fire this or I'll die.
Which kind of boils down to just, I'm gonna die.
I'm gonna die!
Pretty much.
If I don't do something, I'll die.
Good.
Motherfucker.
Okay, so what we're going to do for the sake of determining a chase, because what Peter is doing is he's going to fully begin running. This will begin a chase scene. Let me briefly recap the chase rules for all of you, which is we're going to make a speed roll to determine the placement of the chase, and I'll kind of address things as they come up. You can still attack, obviously, on your turn. You have a number of what are called movement actions. The amount of movement actions you have determines how many things you can do on your turn during a chase. So, like, usually a movement action is by default used to progress forward in the chase. However, complications like hazards, barriers that come up, you'll need to spend movement points to, like, overcome them. And attacking also casts, like, is counted as a movement action. So far, I assume I'm getting this all correct. What I need Jackson, James, Mason, and Peter to do is to all roll a constitution check. All of you.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, success from Mason. Failure from James. All right.
God damn it.
Cool. Let me roll for Peter.
Oh.
Peter also fails.
Can what? Why did this?
This is I don't believe so. I could be wrong. However, it's not going to make a huge impact either way. Yeah, but yeah, it's not gonna it's not entirely detrimental to you. Let me get Jackson's character sheet up here. All right, chat. I promise I'm usually more held together than this as a GM. And Constitution.
You're doing fine.
It was literally within the first 5 minutes. You're fine.
Yeah,
You're
cool.
fine.
And
You're fine.
Jackson also.
Jackson Mason go and get his ass.
So what that is was a speed roll. What that means is at the start of a chase, everyone just rolls to see how your stamina is going to hold up. If you pass the check, your move skill remains unchanged. If you get an extreme success, your movement goes up by 1. If you fail, your movement goes down by 1. So that means that Peter has a movement of 1 lower, and James, your movement is 1 lower for the sake of the chase. So Mason, what is your movement rate again?
7.
7. Okay. And James, what was your movement? Now with the -1 applied to it?
6.
6. Peter's is now a 7 because he had an 8, and Jackson's
Fast. What
a
the fuck?
6. Peter's fucking
Oh,
nimble,
shit.
dude. Peter's fucking nimble. Okay. This is gonna take me a minute on paper to write some things down, so hold up real quick.
Okay.
Please talk amongst yourselves, everybody. Talk about how you'll wring Jordan's neck if his character dies.
I am in fact going to 100% murder you if your character dies.
But that will just hurt your arms more, Kristen.
You assume I will use my arms to kill him.
Oh.
You're gonna pull some Sybil shit and get someone else to do it for her.
I volunteer.
The look at was just made. I'm sorry. Like the slight head turn was just so good.
I'm gonna have to say, I apologize, Jordan, but that's blood.
I would like it if people didn't treat me like I'm an asshole for making characters.
No,
it's
you're
okay.
not.
No,
You're
you're
not.
not.
Because
You're
between
not.
the chat and people fucking shitting on me, I'm just like, I'm making character choices and not
No,
playing it out.
No.
it's okay. We're teasing
dude,
you.
you're
It's-
fine.
yeah.
Thank you. But,
It's okay.
yeah.
No, it's perfectly understandable that Mason did what he did. You're okay.
James, what is your dexterity score?
Dex score.
Yeah.
That is 60.
60? Cool.
God. I'm just thinking back to the instructional video we watched, and I'm just like, what I learned in boating school is.
Okay, so I'm going to loosely explain to everybody how a chase works again. The reason I have this all down on paper is chases are more like loose narrative in terms of distancing. The way I physically represent a chase is I draw a line of dots, each dot representing a point in the chase, and I am organizing those people along those dots. It costs 1 movement action to move 1 dot. So what this means is, the person you are pursuing will always start 2 spaces ahead of the fastest pursuer on the chase chart, and then I organize everything based on that. So that means the organization from highest to lowest on the pursuer side is Mason, and then Jackson, and then James. And Peter is 2 spaces ahead. Spaces are like loose. Like, it's not like that means it's X amount of distance. It just means each point is 1 movement action to get to. There might be hazards between them, and then there are locations. Peter has what is going to be called a victory condition, or like a win condition, which will allow him to escape the chase. It is known to him. So yeah, I've placed the pursuers. I placed the fleeing characters. I'm going to need a minute here to write some other quick notes down here in this list. And then I need to determine how many movement actions you all have.
So while Xander works, I can explain movement actions.
Please do.
So movement actions are determined by, first off, the speed roll you made and also your movement rating. So every participant gets 1 movement action by default, and then to this, is the difference between their movement and then the movement of the slowest participant. That includes the modifier of, the speed roll.
So that would mean I believe that because James and Jackson have 6 as their move and Mason and Peter have 7, I believe that means that James and Jackson have 1 movement action, Mason and Peter have 2 movement actions. I believe.
Okay.
Because I think it is you. Yeah, it's like if you're a point higher than the slowest person, that increases your movement action. Yeah.
I believe so. Yes.
Cool. So please resume out as I continue to work.
Yeah, that was basically it. And so, people can use their movement actions to move forward, or use movement actions to gain bonus die in terms of overcoming obstacles. That would be things like barriers or, other hazards that are put into place. So, that's basically what we're figuring out right now. As for the other 3, who the fuck knows at this point?
Yeah, right.
They're on the other side of the moon, practically.
There's a lot of opportunity for fucking.
So yes.
Train.
In your actions, you may. So the actions in a chase round is you may either move forward in the chase. You spend a movement point to do so. Movement action. You may initiate 1 attack. You could perform some other action requiring time and perhaps a dice roll, such as picking a lock. And you can elect to delay acting until another character has acted. So that's something you can do. You cannot push rolls in a chase.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Ha! Okay. Un momento, por favor.
You are good.
So there was a murder, and now there's a gunshot somewhere in the train. Sybil's having
a great
if
day.
it weren't for the fact that Sybil's had her shit stolen, today would be like the best day ever.
She's not even on. She's over the moon.
She's honestly, even her shit being stolen is like almost part of it. Like, this one just makes it more interesting. It's not like it really matters to her if her shit's stolen. It's the principle of the thing, really.
Yeah, she rich as hell.
She rich as hell.
What was
He
that
is
about a
correct.
mansion?
Like Peter is correct. Like, no, it's the principle of the thing if he steals from her. It ain't gonna affect her bottom line at all.
Mm-hmm.
But she's still gonna kick his ass. With her gun!
Gee,
I would, now that we're on it, I would also like to know Sybil's percentage of using her firearm.
You'll find out when I get to shoot the gun.
She's ready.
Okay. I have very quickly sketched out my chase diagram up to his win condition. Yeah, so if you encounter a hazard, so I'll differentiate. A hazard is something that happens in the chase, because obviously just running on flat ground with nothing happening is a boring chase scene. These are obstacles you have to negotiate. Sometimes this will, such as like climbing down, climbing up something, like dodging to weave through a crowd, strength to wade like mud, dexterity to like run on top of something without falling, stuff like that. If you elect to take a cautious approach on a hazard, you may spend a movement action to give a bonus die on the skill roll needed to negotiate a hazard. So 1 movement point buys 1 bonus die, or 2 movement actions buy 2 bonus die. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. If you fail the check, first things first, does damage get dealt? If not, you get like slowed down to determine how many number of movement actions you have lost. Do I have any questions from anyone involved before we get started on this? I know Atlas also is pretty fresh up on the rules as well, so Atlas will probably be here on the side, sweating. So
just let me know if something needs to be looked up.
Cool.
And I got you.
Terribly sorry that took so long, y'all. All right, so James and Jackson have 1 point, 1 movement action each. Mason and Peter each have 2 movement actions.
2.
So,
Whew.
woof. Okay.
Yeah.
And I believe we still maintain the dex order of combat, which means that it is Jackson's turn. And to think like of your position in the chase, because you, Jackson is like the closest to the door to this baggage car. You're a little bit in that hallway, so it's like whereas he just needs to open the door to see what's going on to join the chase sequence, you have to like run up to the door and get through it. Make sense, James? Cool. So Jackson is going to spend his movement action to move forward 1 point. Kind of runs into the room and like sees you lying down on the ground, Mason, and sees Peter.
I'm gonna run for it. No, I'm fine.
Jackson just reaches down and just, this is not going to be a movement action, just like grabs you by the scruff and like hoists you back to your feet from like having like just into place. Yes. Excellent. Cool. And then it is now James's.
So I get 2 movement actions, you said?
1.
1? Alright,
Yep.
so I have to run to the room and get in, and that's my whole action?
Yeah, it's going to cost you 2, so the farthest in the chasing you can get now, if you're choosing to like run to get progress forward, that's going to be you'll be where Jackson just was in the movement, and then on your next turn you'd be able to get into the baggage car. Alternatively, if you wanted to try shooting through the window at Peter in the chase because he's still like within visual range, you can do so if you want. However,
you're telling me I can see him.
Yes, because there's a window in the little door. However, you will have a penalty die on the roll because you're shooting through something and like trying not to shoot other people and a moving target. So that would actually be 2 penalty dice because it's a penalty die for a moving target, penalty die for you're shooting something like through another surface essentially. So that would basically mean your chances are substantially lowered, but you could do that if you wanted to, or you can just elect to run forward.
I'm gonna run forward.
Cool. Excellent. All right, then. Mason.
Okay.
It's your turn. It would cost you 2 movement actions to get to Peter.
Okay, and because I still have my gun out, does that still give me an extra 50?
I believe as we established, as long as it's readied, it is. However, I think we're just operating by the same roll we had. Okay. Because you have your gun still drawn, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's considered still readied then.
Yeah. And then like he did stand up and then take a shot at him while he was picking that shit up and running.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Mason's gonna use both of his move actions to get closer.
Okay.
Also, how far from the luggage car did James and Jackson get before everything popped
Not
off?
far. The locations are loose, like approximations of space. So this is more
it's more like a milestone movement.
It's more like milestone movement. So I consider because you guys are between cars right now, it's a little bit of like a bumpy thing. So it's like Jackson, to get into the baggage car, Jackson has to like open the door and move inside. Whereas for you, since you're a little bit further back, is you have to like, move over the rickety cars and open a door to get inside the baggage car. So I considered you that's loosely the space you're in. So you're not really far. It's just a approximation of how things work. Cool. You'll spend your 2 points to get on the same space as Peter. I have placed a hazard in this room, which is to get to Peter. I put a hazard in one of the spaces that is simply just baggage, which refers to the fact that there is a stacked baggage all up in this place. So it's like it's a major tripping hazard. So I'm gonna qualify that in the kind of like hazards. Is going to be. I'm going to say that's going to be a dodge roll from you.
Oh,
Mason.
Man. Okay.
Okay. So, you advanced 1 space in the chasing. You advanced 1 space. So, Mason, you're now 1 space behind Peter. And you try to use your additional movement action to approach and navigate this hazard since you're trying to run to him. You fall, you trip. You don't take damage. You just, like, trip over, you stumble. Can you roll a D3 for me, if you'd be so kind?
Okay.
Hey.
Okay, so, on your next turn, you will only have 1 movement action. But that'll only last for that turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I cannot fucking win with these goddamn rolls. I can't fucking win with
Roll
these rolls.
20's kind of evil.
Okay.
Roll 20. Oh my fucking god, dude.
Like I know it's just an algorithm, but like my brain, my monkey brain wants me to think it's demons.
Like ever
This is
since my
not-
first luck roll, I've failed like every single roll besides this dodge one that I fucking went for. Like holy shit.
Okay.
Fuck me.
1 second, y'all. Sorry, I really don't want to kill the momentum here. But I'm like, there's so many notes I got going on right now. Oh shit, sorry, hold on.
We really started the session out with a bang.
Oh, bro Dingles, you are the funniest one here. Oh,
Intense, you know?
the king of comedy.
Maybe I should have just went meta and just not shot the gun and tried to talk him out of it.
No, honestly,
Nah.
No,
Maybe
This
me
is
like
great.
just taking them over the mask. Give me the fucking face, Mason. I got this.
Give me the face,
Honestly-
Mason.
No, it's okay. Here's the thing.
This is really
It's
interesting.
the most interesting option.
Oh yeah, for
Oh.
sure.
And that's all that
Like-
really matters. All that
like-
matters in tabletop is, was it the most interesting option? Then that's good enough.
Like we're giving you
Sure.
shit, but it's all fake. Like,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a pun.
No, you're
I just wanted to make a pun.
like we're giving you shit, but it's purely because it's
Oh no, it's
Uh,
payback because you
chaos,
scared me. It's payback because you scared me.
We're terrified, but it was a good shit choice, dude. Good
Yeah.
shit.
Good shit.
I got prank.
We just like Mason, okay? We're scared
I
for
know.
him.
Jesus,
I
I
also
don't want
like
him to
Mason.
die.
I also like Mason.
No, it's just funny because before this, like we were talking, it was just like, huh, Mason's not gonna die within 3 sessions. It was an actual conversation that we had, Jordan.
hey,
This
hey,
is why I
hey,
was worried.
and he hasn't, and he hasn't, and he is
And
yet.
he hasn't. And
He
he's
hasn't
here.
yet.
Hasn't died
He hasn't
yet.
yet.
He has absolutely yet to. He is just fine.
Oh, fuck.
You doing good there, buddy?
No, I'm not doing good.
Looks at critical failure. No, I'm not.
No, I'm not doing good. I keep
In
failing
fact,
all
I'm
my
doing
fucking
about as
rolls.
opposite as I
Hey, man.
can.
Hey, man.
Like,
It's
I think
okay.
the only reason why Roll 20 gave me that fucking roll die is because we're only on the 3rd stream.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, no, I need him to do more. He must suffer more.
me.
I like to think that like someone watching the stream is controlling the roll 20 and just dictating whether or not we get to pass. Yeah,
You're gonna
deadass.
succeed your dodge roll, but when you try to chase him, you're gonna trip and fall like a pussy.
What did you want to do something really cool in your D&D game?
Hunk, I see you wanted to breathe.
Shut up!
Mason, I see you wanted to walk. Ah, Xander, I see you wanted to put 6 bugbears on them. All the shit that I'm getting in Call of Cthulhu right now is because I've been doing so well in Descent into Avernus.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's actually
It's the gods.
true. That
It's
is
the gods.
true. It's evening out. All is right with
Zero.
the world right now.
Fucking Zerial's like, you know what? You're doing it this time, but just you fucking wait, buddy. Just you wait until I call up my friend Cthulhu. Like, hey, yeah, he's coming. He's on his way right now. He'll be ready for you.
So, I've assembled the full fucking chase sequence here. So, I have fully got this up and labeled. I am going to position everybody again really quickly now that I've just made a new, more easy to edit one. So you are in the mid car, Mason. You're one behind him.
God, that's
Peter.
a critical failure. That's a critical fight. I fell. I hit my head. I passed out. That's it. I'm done.
It's not that
Fucking
critical.
Mason falls off the train.
Okay.
Mason no clips through the floor into the bedroom.
On Peter's turn. Peter is at the side door of this car. If you think of at the baggage car, there is at the far end there's the door that is the outside door, not the door to the front of the engine, the door to the outsides of the train. He runs up to that, so that cost him actually no, I believe he was at the door, sorry. So it's going to cost him a movement action to he sets down his baggage to fumble around and pulls out a key, a conductor's key, and slides it into the outside door, unlocks it. So that's one of his movement actions. And then he is going to move on the outside of the train.
Oh fuck, we're going. Oh my god, we're doing it. We're getting on the train, boys.
Are we going up?
On the train. We're going.
Are we going up? I shouldn't have even fucking walked into the luggage. I don't have to walk into the luggage car. I'm on the outside. I haven't walked through the door.
Do you have a key?
You know what? That's actually a very good point, James. Technically, this is before trains had fully sequestered off connections. So technically, yeah, you're at the door of the baggage car. But if you climb up the ladder, you're gonna be up there. Okay, that's super interesting.
God, that's gonna be fucking hot, dude. Oh shit.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
That's actually
The idea of
rad as
seeing
hell.
James on the fucking top of the train with two guns. Honestly,
He's like, oh no, I've played this game before.
I've done this before.
honestly, that imagery, kind of hot.
So on
Very sexy, right?
on Jackson's
It's kinda
turn, Jackson first of all looks at you, Mason, and just acknowledges you, you alright? Just looks at you.
He's getting on the top of the train.
I figured. And he looks at James and he goes, cut him off! And Jackson's gonna run after Peter. Because Jackson is the real action hero we need.
Fucking love Jackson.
Gets to your space with you, Mason. And he is going to yeah, he'll make a dodge roll to see if he can also very quickly duck and weave through the baggage.
Weave over boxes and Mason.
And Mason.
Mason has become an obstacle. Folded like a pretzel, just all over these boxes. Just
Successful roll on Jackson's part.
Mason,
So Jackson,
Mason hit the boxes. He was just like,
Jackson
Ragdoll.
successfully navigates the baggage, so he'll be able to move on to the next node on his next turn. Actually, no, he only had one fucking point. What am I doing? He can only get to you. That's all I can do. I'm sorry, I got confused there for a second. So, sorry, all he can do is run up to you. My B. Ignore that roll. I'm stressed. Now it's James.
let's get on the roof, boys. Let's go.
Cool, so there's a ladder on the outside of the cabins. I'm gonna need a climb check from you.
Oh, fuck.
Now here's the thing, pause real quick, but just letting you know, real quick. So, if you want, because you only have one movement action, so you are, to ascend this ladder is essentially getting to the top of the car, allowing you to be there, which will actually put you in a completely different space in the chase order. If you fail this check, you might be in a bad place. However, if you want to instead spend your movement action to, prepare yourself to, climb this ladder safely, that'll give you a bonus action on your next turn to climb up.
I think I'm gonna do that.
Cool, excellent. So, on your turn, when you do make the climb check to go up the ladder, you will have a bonus die to do so.
Good, because I don't have a very high climb check.
Makes sense.
Shit.
Cool.
Listen, he said he'd done it before, not that he was very good at it.
Absolutely.
Hey man, I've
Train.
this is a train. I'm not used to climbing these.
Excellent. Okay. Mason, it is your go now.
Okay, so motherfucker just like went out and went up, yeah?
Yeah, so because there are windows, you can kind of see through them. Peter
Okay.
has not climbed up yet. He opens the door, like, you know, he's bald, so his hair's not whipping in the breeze or anything. Holding his suitcase and his Luger, and just sitting out there, and like sidles himself, and tucks like his gun underneath his arm, and looks like he's just about to start climbing towards the roof of that car. So that's what he's up
Any
to.
windows? So the windows on that side, are any of them open?
None of the windows are open, but you can like see through them, so you're able to see what Peter's doing on the outside. However, again, moving target and shooting through something will give you a penalty die. So that'll be 2 penalty dice, which
So
if
it's
you
two.
want,
So it's 2 penalty dice.
yeah.
I have 2 points. Can I use a point to open a window, and then can I use a point to shoot at him?
I will say that I'll say that negates 1 penalty dice. He's still a moving target, so you'll still have a penalty dice on this attack.
Mm-hmm.
Now keep in
And
mind.
I guess like, did he prepare himself to climb it safely, or is he just like slowly like because he's holding
he hasn't been
things?
his turn hasn't come for him to be able to prepare yet. He did not have enough movement actions to make a preparation for climbing, so not yet. So what I'm gonna, but here's all, and as the GM, I will never tell you what I think you should do. I would like to remind you of things. Keep in mind, your gun check is a 20% chance, and you're still
And
rolling
I have
with
a penalty.
a penalty die. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just letting you know, like, it is. I don't want. Do this if you want to do it. I fully support it. I just don't want you to walk away from this being like, well, I just wasted a turn. I don't think that it would be a waste, but I'm just reminding you because this game's a bit harsher than, say, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. I'll move to the door that he went out of, and then like I'll exit out of that.
Okay, so you still, in order to get to that space in the chase, you still need to navigate the suitcase bag. Like, the bag is just cluttering the floor. So you still have to navigate.
Like I'm still stuck in that?
You trapped and you fell. You have not bypassed that part of the room yet. That's still a
Right.
hazard.
Mm.
However,
Okay.
since you have 2 movement actions, if you want to spend 1 to get a bonus die on the check, you'll still have 1 dice left over to to move through it. So like so you'll still be able to get to the door as long as you don't fail. However, spending 1 spending 1 movement action will let you have a bonus die on the roll to navigate, and you'll still be able to move to your intended location.
All right. So theoretically, now that I am like, because I tripped and fell in this luggage, and like I'm in the luggage, is it still gonna count as a dodge action to get out of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's still gonna be, because you have not bypassed the hazard. The hazard's still affecting you. The hazard has
hazard's
not
still
been
affecting
cleared.
Okay.
Like it's still like somebody could like choose to be like, I'm gonna like move this out of the way so it's not a fucking hazard. However, nobody's done that. So it's either your choices here is like you still have to move through it, or spend your time like clearing it out so other people can pass through it. Sounds like what you want to do is stay hot on Peter's tail. So if you want,
I want to stay
cool.
hot on Peter's
So you
tail.
spend a movement action to approach the suitcases more cautiously. Excellent. So now go ahead and make your dodge check. This time it's an extreme success. Okay, so you didn't need the bonus, but now you're able to move to that next space. So you are now at the door.
This game fucking hates me, dude.
It's Call of Cthulhu. It hates everybody.
That's the point.
It's everybody, yeah.
Call of Cthulhu
Oh,
hates
this
everybody.
game fucking hates me.
Okay,
God
excellent.
damn.
Now it's Peter's turn. Okay. Yeah, the Disaster Gang lives up to its name, y'all.
Yep.
Sorry, un momento, por favor. Okay. Peter is gonna, I'm gonna say here. Yeah, I'm gonna say that Peter is holding on to a heavy suitcase and trying to climb up a ladder. Circumstantially, that's a penalty die. He is going to spend one of his movement actions to get a bonus die on climbing that ladder because it's considered a hazard to climb up. So that will negate the penalty die. So that'll be a flat roll from him. Similar to how advantage disadvantage works. He still has a very low climb, so this might not work. Oh yeah, that's a failure. That's a big failure. Cool. So he begins to climb up the ladder. I need to roll a d3 for him, actually, to see how many of his things he loses. Oh, okay, loses one. He is, like, hanging off of the ladder, like, dangling. He actually, like, I'm actually gonna prompt a luck roll for this one, actually, on his end.
Oh no, I want Peter to live.
You want Peter to live, I'm sorry? Was that you wanted Peter to live? Said the guy who shot at him? We're back. Hello, everybody. Yeah. Jordan yelled at me and the stream disconnected, so everybody, yeah. Jordan is now no longer allowed to yell at me.
Can I yell at you?
No.
He's no longer allowed to yell
Too
at me.
bad.
I'm soft.
So I'm gonna... No, actually, I'm not even gonna say this is a luck check. It's just that if you fail the thing, something bad happens. He's not gonna fall off the ladder and fall off of the train, because that would be too easy. However, he, in his fumbling, the Luger falls out of his coat and clatters to the ground off the train. And he goes, shit! And is still clutching, since he is clutching his suitcase hardcore, as he's, like, hanging there from, like, the train for a second, the gun falls out, clattering into the desert floor of the Arizona sands, as the gun just disappears. Excellent. Cool. Alright. Jackson will use his movement point to... he needs to actually, yeah, so he's not going to be able to prepare, so he's just going to do a dodge roll for this one. He only has 1 point.
I'm gonna jump over the boxes.
Success from Jackson. Jackson is unbeatable, man.
Dude, Jackson is taking all my luck.
Jackson just like, guess I'll die. Okay. And now, James, it's your turn. So, you spend your last movement action to get a bonus die on your climb check for getting up this ladder, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll the climb check first.
Alright. Sounds about right.
So, says failure. You failed by... Okay, now here's what... You see that little thing at the bottom that says bonus penalty?
Yeah.
Cool. Click that. And you should get a little pop-up that says, how many dice? Put in 1. And now, make sure it says bonus. And then confirm. And you rolled a 2, which made it 26, which means you failed by 1 point. Do you want to spend a luck point?
Yeah!
Yeah!
I'm on the roof!
You climb up the ladder to get like onto the roof of the baggage car, like the hot desert air whipping in your face, just rocketing through the Arizona sands, just like gun out. Like it's not a sandstorm, so like luckily it's not like anything's getting in your face, but it is windy up here. Obviously, for you all watching at home, since you can't see cameras, Split is doing some sense memory here and is actively like standing up and pretending he's on a moving train. So I give him props for that. He's also holding a gun, so
he has a prop already.
He has a prop already. Excellent. Cool. So that is your turn. Okay. So because I considered the path of the chase to be Peter running towards the back of the train, that technically propels you to another spot further up ahead in the line. So whereas you were at the back, James, let's see, you would be at the end of the baggage car. Which would put you James. Okay, that puts you in front of Peter. He's not up on the top of the train yet. But he there.
I can't wait to meet him up here like, hey, motherfucker. What's going on?
Hey, bitch!
I won't. I actually won't.
Okay. Good job. Good turn. All right, Mason, it's your turn.
Okay, it's Mason's turn. So yeah, so we said that Mason made it to the door? No, he got out of the bags. He got out of the fucking bags. Okay.
Which took you to the door. Yeah. So
took
you
him to
are at the door
Alright.
to the outside. Yeah.
Cool. So I want to climb the ladder.
Peter's still on the ladder. So you would need to spend a movement action to get to that ladder space, but then you are right there with him, engaged. Yeah.
So Mason gets out there, kind of like holding onto the. Peter, just come back inside. You're gonna get us both killed.
You tried to shoot me, you piece of shit!
You shot first, motherfucker.
You were gonna pull the trigger.
Fuck you. And Mason takes the gun at point blank, shoots him.
Okay, so even though he's like in a stalemate from like not moving, he's still considered a moving target because chase targets are always moving targets. Penalty die, however, point blank bonus die negates the penalty die.
Try to assist, you son of a bitch.
So roll your gun check, yeah.
God damn!
Oh.
Fuck! Come on.
Do you wanna spend 20 luck points?
I do not want to spend 20 luck points.
A gun is but a boomstick if you don't know how to use it.
Just fuck me.
I just like to think that back in like the
shit.
baggage car, like James and Jackson see this and they both simultaneously think, oh, we gotta teach this guy some like technique. Like- Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. So you like you can just like see over. Well, actually, you can see over the side. You can see like Peter and Mason are like wrestling, and like Mason's gun just goes off wildly as they're like grappling there. So far, all my rules checking out, Atlas. Excellent. All right.
Okay, it's cool. It's cool. It's fine.
Peter, on the other hand,
Yeah?
he
Let's see the
lost an
stats
action.
in the
So
fucking
he only has one movement action for this round. Peter's gonna make an attack against you. He's gonna just make a brawl check to like shove you off the train. I believe this is considered a maneuver. So let me double check that really quickly.
Me frantically looks for my fucking brawl score.
Okay,
I'm
so
scared.
here's how maneuvers work. What is your build, Mason?
Where
It should be in the
build?
combat tab. Yeah, it should be in the combat tab.
Really? 0?
Yeah, well, that's average. That's normal.
Okay.
All right, because Peter's
I was
also
gonna say,
0.
holy shit.
So that means he doesn't get any penalties or bonuses.
Okay.
So this is resolved the same way as normal combat, as like fight back. So what that means is, yeah. So what that means is, you can either choose. Yeah. So basically, he's like, it's I think of like as grappling that he's wrestling with you. As he kind of like releases the ladder, since you're right there with him. You need to roll a brawl check against his brawl check. Instead of dealing damage, the successful person performs the maneuver. In this case, it's shoving James off the train.
Mason?
Sorry, Mason. I did it? It's an hour and a half in and I did it. God damn it. All right, so I'm going to roll Peter's brawl check first.
Okay. Here it comes. Here it comes. I'm waiting for it.
Oh, that was an accidental luck check. Ignore that. I accidentally clicked his luck button.
God, I got really excited for a minute. I was like, failure. Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
Shit. He's gonna succeed the brawl check. I know he is. I know he is. Did you just misfire your gun?
No?
What was that sound split?
That is a
Dropping a
failure
glass.
on his part. That's a big failure. So now give me a brawl check if you'd be so kind, Mason.
Punch him in the face.
Okay.
Both failures.
Oh.
Okay, so nothing. In the event of 2 failures, I
Nothing
believe
happens, I
nothing
believe.
happens. Yeah, nothing happens. It's only if like there are like ties and successes. But in both failures, you two are like wrestling at the edge of the train, like on the precipice of the desert. It's
Because
like,
the motherfucker grabbed me and I'm fighting back. Do I now have a hold of him?
technically no. It's more narrative fluff than anything else. But like Peter's like right there in your fucking face. Mason he just goes, "You said you were going to help me." And cool. All right. Jackson, on the other hand, also pokes his head on the outside. It's getting a little crowded here, but he actually, hold on. Jackson will say to you before he makes his movement action, "Need a little help there, Mr. Allen?"
Please!
He like takes his gun out and is gonna try to shoot at Peter.
I'm right fucking there! I'm right fucking there!
It's best to just put Mason out of his misery at this point.
No,
He's gonna go ahead and put him down.
he's spending his movement action to like aim and like ready himself to fire, but he's like he's not gonna take a shot. He's leveling his gun. This is similar to in combat. You can actually choose your turn to, instead of attack, aim, which gives you a bonus die on your next attack roll. So he is aiming at Peter from his position without moving through the window. So that is what's going on there. All right. After this round, I will say, is enough for more people to join the chase.
Wow!
Yeah. Okay, because we're doing this, I suppose.
Oh, fuck.
All right, James. Yeah, it's your go. You're on the roof of the fucking baggage train.
Can I see him?
You can like looking over the side of the train. You can like see James and Mason and Peter tussling. But no one's gotten up to the roof yet.
Okay. All right. Am I like close enough to where it's like literally a peer over the fucking roof and I
not
see him?
close enough. It's like more like it's from your position, like you can like glance over the side of the train long ways and see them at the far end. You would need to, in terms of like locations, that it would be one movement action from your current position to get to the next side of this train car.
And that puts me like directly by
Like
them, right?
overhead them, yeah.
Okay, then, yeah, so I'm going to take that movement action.
Cool. So as you take the movement action, you're running along the train's length. Because the train is moving, it is fucking... You have the balance up here. I need a dex check from you.
Okay. Let's see. Let's hope this doesn't fail.
Extreme success.
Yay!
You do not lose any
Someone's got
speed,
it.
so you are able to move yourself to that space, to the roof of the baggage car on that edge, being able to look directly down at Mason and Peter.
So James gets over to the other side, seeing everyone kind of tussling on the ladder, pointing gun down at everyone. Hey, boys!
End of the line, Peter. Make a decision right now.
Where's his gun?
Gone. Tumbled off the train.
Then he's unarmed!
Excellent. So, I need Sunil, Sybil, and Kit to make con rolls real quick, so I can determine your movement stuff. All right.
Wow, I can't believe Sybil failed a Constitution roll. That's never
I
happened
can't believe I
before.
succeeded at Constitution.
All right. So Sybil, Kit, and Sunil, what are your move rates? They're on your combat tab.
My move rate is 9.
9.
Holy shit.
Sybil's
Holy
limber.
She's small.
So that would become an 8 because you are, you know, you took the -1. Sunil and Kit, what are your movement rates?
7.
9.
Oh wow, Kit is also fast as hell.
It's that soldier shit.
That's older shit.
I'm going to put you all kind of same loose formation. That is, Kit, you are at the door to the baggage car, and then I'm going to put, Sunil and Sybil in the hall leading up to that. In terms of movement actions, so Kit, you have 3 movement actions. Sybil, you have 2. Actually, no, wait, no, sorry. Kit has 4. Sybil has 3, and
Holy
Sunil
shit.
has 2.
Holy
Damn.
shit.
So keep that in mind. Fuck. Okay.
Kid
And-
Sullivan's coming in.
And
Get
Kit.
Sullivan done with this bullshit.
Did anyone call a doctor?
So Kit, Sybil, and Sunil. What are your deck scores, by the way?
45.
Well, Dex 40.
70.
That's why Kit's so damn fucking fat.
Gotta be nimble. Gotta have fast fingers when you're doing surgery, you know?
Kid be nimble, kid be quick.
All right. So at the top of this new round, Kit, you get to go first.
Oh! Excellent!
Oh wait, sorry. Mason still has his gun drawn, so that still counts as he has he has a ready firearm. It goes Mason first, and then Kit. So Mason.
Okay, Mason says, Peter, consider your options. We may have gotten off on the wrong foot. How about let's talk about this over dinner? Yeah? Come down. Please.
It's
I'm
kind of
gonna
the end of the
ask-
road, buddy.
I'm gonna ask you to make a charm check with a penalty die.
Oh, Charlie.
However,
What? You've gotta be
how?
fucking joking me.
2. That's fucking 2.
so critical
Bro,
failures.
That's fucking
So
2
critical failures mean that something really, really bad happens.
Fucking 2 critical
So,
failures. Are you
I'm
fucking
so
kidding
sorry,
me?
bud. So that
You're
means something.
fucking
So
kidding
critical
me.
failures mean something very, very bad happens. What I'm going to say that is as you're kind of wrestling with him, you like try to break through to him. You try to tell him that, and Peter, with his now like free hand since he let go of the ladder, actually manages to snatch your gun out of your grab, and is holding your gun to you.
Okay, I have a second movement. Wait, I didn't use any movement yet.
No, you use a movement action to make that check, I'll say. It's like any action you do costs 1 movement action. So that was 1 of your 2. So now, unfortunately, you have a gun pointed at you on behalf of Peter Haas.
Hold on, let me think about what to do right now, because I was really hoping that I'd be able to talk him out of it.
Think quickly.
Okay, I guess that means no then. I'm gonna punch him in the face.
Great. Fucking give me a brawl check if you'd be so kind. This is like your cool.
There's one thing to rely on. I call this one NyQuil. I call this one NyQuil. This one wakes you up, and this one puts you out.
I'll have Peter make a fight back. He'll make a brawl check. He'll need, I believe, hard or extreme success to like negate. I'll get that in a second. I doubt he doesn't have.
Watch him get an extreme success.
He doesn't have the
Watch him
highest
get an
brawl.
extreme success.
Yeah, that's a failure. Okay, so looking at your character sheet, Mason, your in your combat tab, you don't have an unarmed thing up. Okay, hold on. God, how much is an unarmed attack? I forgot.
1d3.
It's 1d3.
Yeah, 1d3.
Okay, so yeah, roll a d3 if you'd be so kind, Mason.
Okay. That's oh, fuck. God, who would have thought all I needed to do was just start using my hands? Use my hands. I'm paid to use my hands. This is what I do for a living.
Okay, so congratulations. The first bit of damage in Call of Cthulhu has just been enacted in combat terms on Peter. You just fucking, like, clock him in the face, like, for 2 HP, which in Call of Cthulhu terms, not bad.
Yeah,
okay.
so Mason fucking... Okay, that means no then. Puts the fucking dukes up, gives him a good fucking right. I'm starting to lose my fucking patience! He's
Now,
pissed.
Kit, it is your turn.
Alright, I am at the door to the baggage car, right? I can
Yes,
see
that
through
is
it. I can see through the baggage car to the bullshit that's happening at the other end, right?
Yes.
Shit.
Real quick,
Kit is-
GM wants to pause real quick. Everything that's going on is clear for everyone in, like, terms of, like, what's happening, yeah? Is anyone confused
Yeah.
or feeling pretty confident? Everyone's good?
James
Alright,
got
cool.
a gun on fucking Peter. Mason just punched him at gunpoint.
They're like basically on the other side of the baggage
Gotcha,
car, right?
gotcha.
Okay. But they're like outside the baggage car.
Yeah, they are.
Correct?
So,
But they're
Kit,
the
yes.
between
Yeah,
spot.
they're
Okay.
yeah, they are. So, Kit, you're at the door to the baggage car. You can see all the bullshit that's going on.
Right. Instead of going into the baggage car, Kit is going to take a breath, prepare to climb the ladder, and then climb. So that's 2 movement points right there.
So, give me a climb check with a bonus die added.
Yes, yes.
God, I wish I had that extra movement. I wish I had more than one fucking movement per turn.
Yo!
Oh, shit.
Whoa!
So that went from a
Fuck.
57 to a 7.
Damn!
God, Kid just
throws
fucking
themselves
jumps,
up the ladder.
leaps, superhero landing. No.
Okay. Kit, you are now up at the top of the moving train car.
Okay, instead of, like, going all the way up off the ladder, what Kit wants to do is basically use the ladder, like, hook an arm through to, like, brace himself,
Uh-huh.
and then Kit will pull out his rifle and aim.
Oh, okay. You have 4 actions. So, like,
Yes.
you're going to aim as 1, and then your 4th, are you going to fire?
I just realized Kit can't yell. Nobody's gonna be able to hear Kit over the, Kit's gonna fire a warning shot.
Okay, cool. So I'm not gonna have a roll for that. You just, the gun goes off audibly, but like you still like take your action. Like you are aiming very fucking carefully at Peter. Cool. All right, it's Peter's turn.
If Peter looks over at Kit, Kit's just gonna go down.
Yeah. Peter doesn't aim at you, but like, he definitely like hears the warning shot, like looks back at you, scowls. I'm
still standing over him with a pistol drawn.
You are.
Try anything, buddy. See what
gonna
happens.
Because the round restarted, and James has his gun at the ready.
It's not James's turn again. It's not come back to him. Given the circumstances, I'm gonna have Peter make a power check for reasons I won't go into at the moment.
Fuck.
It's a hard success from him. He, like, in your face, like, Mason, just, you see him, like notice, like, looking up at the gun that's on him. He has a gun to you, but, like, Kit's aiming from across the train. Peter stands there holding your gun at your, like, chest and just goes, Scheisse.
Are you ready to come down?
You fucking shot at me, Mason.
You shot at me.
You were going to
You
pull
had a
the
gun
trigger.
pointed at me.
You were
You
going to
killed a
pull.
man.
Get inside him. He like fucking like does not let go of your gun, but like he's still holding your gun too. But he goes, looks up at James and goes, like holds like he would surrender, but like both hands are occupied. Kind of like looks up at you, James. He kind of like gestures that like he's like I'm cool. Like he like but like he has the gun at you and goes, Get back inside. I'm going to consider
Make
the
him
chasing...
give me my gun, James.
I am not going to give anyone the gun until they're back inside, and I have guarantees I'm not going to be shot! Is that more than fair with you?
Mason's gonna look at James. Do what you have to do.
I'm not going to shoot him unless someone tries to shoot me. But I'm not letting go of this gun until I have a guarantee that I'm not going to get fucking shot.
Who shot who?
He was going to shoot at me first. I pulled the trigger first. Okay? We're all on edge
Give
here.
me the gun.
How about we all get back inside the car first? Yeah? Yeah?
Are
Okay,
we
yeah?
Are we still in the...
This is a current lull in it as we figure out what everyone's current move is, as Peter is making his current position very clear. He is not going to let go of his gun until he is sure that nobody's gonna fucking kill him. So he wants to...
How do we know you're not gonna make a break for it, huh?
Where am I going to go, Mason?
Where were you gonna go in the first place?
Mason, get in the fucking train.
Just listen to him. Nobody has to get hurt here, Mr. Allen.
Jackson, you got that aim true, right?
Oh yeah, clear and center.
All right. We're all good here?
Yeah, Jackson
Let's all
yells
go
out,
in the train.
Jackson yells out from the inside, Mr. Allen, I believe Mr. Sullivan's got a gun on him, James got a gun on him, and I got a gun on him. Got 3 against 1. I know having a gun pointed at you is not an optimal situation, but all things considered, he's outnumbered. I think we should just get back inside and avoid falling off to our deaths. Yeah?
Mason thinks for a minute. Okay. And
Okay.
he's gonna take a step back.
Peter, nods. And,
James,
Jesse's with the gun.
looks back over at Kit and just...
Kit nods and climbs down the ladder so that James can get off.
Yeah.
All right. Perhaps we can discuss this civilized people. Get inside the car. And if everybody else is going to move inside the car, we're going to go to a quick break.
Woo!
All right. Well, that was... Hoof. So don't...
Dude, that was so intense. I loved that.
God, 2 critical failures. Oh my fucking
Shit, man.
god.
Dude,
All
fucking refresh the page. The RNG's killing you.
We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a few minutes here. Thank you all for bearing with us as we were kind of figuring out the rules there. But, hey, we're having a good time. So we'll see what happens next. So, hey, stay tuned, y'all.
Lights Out by Edward Thomas. I have come to the borders of sleep, the unfathomable deep forest where all must lose their way, however straight or winding, soon or late. They cannot choose. Many a road and track that, since the dawn's first crack up to the forest brink, deceived the travelers, suddenly now blurs, and in they sink. Here love ends, despair ambition ends, all pleasure and all trouble, although most sweet or bitter, here ends in sleep that is sweeter than tasks most noble. There is not any book or face of dearest look that I would not turn from now to go into the unknown. I must enter and leave alone, I know not how. The tall forest towers, its cloudy foliage lowers ahead, shelf above shelf. Its silence I hear and obey, that I may lose my way and myself.
Welcome back, everybody. Woo! We're all a little, got them, heart palpitations. We're all a little stressed out. The DM has taken several glasses of water and ate dinner, so the GM is feeling significantly better. So, let me just get that train noise back on. Alrighty. So, what happens next is that from the far northern, the far end of the train that goes towards the front of the engine car is where Mason and Peter and James, I assume you climb down that ladder, you're pointing over. Yeah, you get it, climbing inside. Kit, you get down from your little roost, and Sybil and Sunil, you guys rush into the baggage car, Kit shortly behind. So for Kit and Sybil, Peter Haas, who's got a gun drawn currently. He's not like actively like, he seems high strung. He's got a gun kind of like loosely pointed at like Mason's like back. Not like a hostage situation. Like, he's just like holding it there as a precaution. Less of a direct point as he was with you originally, Mason. Now just kind of like he's like he's got like kind of like resting by his hip, pointing at you. And Jackson's doing the same thing. He's not like actively like aiming. He's like holding his gun. And like this like moment of tense silence, and Jackson just goes, "How you doing, Peter? You look great." And Peter like glares, and then immediately his eyes flick over to Kit and Sybil. And Peter, holding his gun, just goes, "Mr. Sullivan and Miss Cordova."
Mr. Haas. It's good to see you. I'm glad to see that you're doing okay.
Now that he's inside, he like sets his luggage down and like tosses your like the like jewelry and golden bracelets that he like snatched from your suitcase and like stuffed into his pockets. He just like throws it like across the ground, like the middle of the train car, just being like, "I was going to give it back before Mr. Allen and I had a misunderstanding."
Really?
Yeah.
You know, something tells me that's not true.
Mr. Allen offered to give me some of his acquired wealth. And then he tried to shoot me, and then I shot him first. So we'll just tally it up between the two of us as mutual bad decisions, yeah? Yeah.
So, I'm gonna have to be the first one to ask here, just because, hi, don't know any of you. What the fuck?
I second that notion.
This is Peter Haas. He was a fellow that was with us when we were on an expedition in Peru. Disappeared after a certain time. Basically, that's about it. Missed the majority of all the really bad shit that went down.
And I was more than happy to never have to see any of you in my lives again until circumstances changed things. But here we are. Mr. Castiglione is dead, and we all have guns pointed at each other. Honestly, I'm sure most of us have had verse introductions. So,
does Peter look visibly hurt?
he's got he's got like a bruise from where Mason clocked him, but like
Rock this shit.
But when he kind of like scowls, you can see that he's actually missing 2 teeth in his like, yeah, he's got 2 recently knocked out teeth.
Oh, we
Does
know where
Mason
those
notice
are.
this?
Well, that
That
solves that mystery.
Yeah, that he habitually keeps licking. Yeah, it's noticeable to everybody.
Holy shit, so those were your teeth.
Yeah,
Oh.
that large fellow Bosco packs a mean right hook, I suppose is the parlance.
Do you want him back?
He like cocks his head at you.
Mason, kind of like, this is his humor. This is how
Yeah,
he's trying to
yeah.
loosen up. He looks over to Sunil. Do you still have them?
I gave them to Jackson.
Yep,
Jackson,
Jackson
do you
says,
still
"Got
have
him
them?"
safe and sound right here in my coat."
Okay. Peter, do you want your teeth back?
He like gives like this long, heavy sigh and just goes, "That depends, I suppose, on how you were planning to utilize them."
I just mean giving you your fucking teeth back. I'm making a joke.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
kinda-
I
poor
understand.
Mason,
I
I'm
don't
sorry,
believe
I'm
any
sorry.
of us had any use for your teeth.
I actually wanted them.
No.
Mason looks over at Sybil. What the fuck?
Well, Jackson will like reach in his coat.
I've never owned human teeth before. I might as well
You
give it
have
a
a
shot.
set of them.
You
You have
own
your
2
own
whole
set.
sets of them.
I haven't owned any teeth that aren't mine. Excuse me.
Peter says, "It is preferable to my interests that for what I might offer up to all of you, it's better that my teeth are not found anywhere near this train. So if you are offering, I will take my teeth back." And Jackson goes, "Sound argument to me. Anyone disagree?"
Give the man his fucking teeth.
Jackson
Yeah,
tosses
yes,
over like
he
the
can
wrapped up
have
handkerchief.
his teeth.
Needs his teeth back.
Jackson like turns to you, Sybil, and goes, "Miss Cordova, I'm definitely certain that at some point in our adventures you will gonna get more teeth. I bet. Like, I'll put money down on it right now.
You know,
Teeth
a
are
girl
guaranteed.
A girl can dream.
Girls gotta have a teeth.
I could knock out from someone for you if you need it. But
If
right
we
now we're a
could
bit busy.
shut up with the jokes, I apologize, but I'm not exactly in the best frame of mind to be laughing over what's transpiring. Yeah? We good? Yeah? Okay. So, I may have acted rashly, but I assure you, I did not intend for things to get this far, let alone have you find out that I was on board this train. Unfortunately, Mr. Castiglione complicated things pretty badly. Which, by the way, he like looks at you, James. As I mentioned before, I do believe that he still will fetch you a decent price. Probably not as much as he would have alive, but my apologies for killing your target.
These things happen.
It was
He was a
entirely
piece of shit.
that he was, and it was entirely accidental, I assure you. So,
Whatever happened to his buddy?
well, before I get into that, just want to make it very clear that I don't want harm to be brought to you, even after Mr. Allen shot at me. Or at least, well, you shot at me a couple of times, but to be fair, I did shoot at you, as we established.
To be fair, you also had a gun. You had a gun pointed at us. You were in disguise the entire time. You killed the person prior to this very moment, and you still had a gun pointed at me.
A person that nobody on this train liked. So,
Oh,
but
he was a piece of shit. You still kind of, killed him.
Mason, not to defend a murderer, but I'm pretty sure if he found out any kind of bullshit, or maybe if he just wanted to, guy probably would have killed him at any second.
It's exactly for those reasons why I'm on board this train, all of you. Yes, I conspired with Mr. Castiglione to rob you, Mr. Allen, Miss Cordova, Mr. Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
It was, we'll call it self-preservational. I had my ultimatums presented before me in Peru, and I thought I was going to be well off once I returned to the States. However, circumstances changed, and once a little worm told me that you were still alive and had a lot of money. Well, frankly speaking, Miss Cordova, you don't need the money, and Mr. Sullivan and Mr. Allen, the money you took is not necessary for your survival, but it is an added bonus to your livelihood. This I do not invalidate. I am the only one from the expedition who actually needs that money to live. I am the only one who needs it. So I was planning to rob you enough to pay off my debts and convince Mr. Castiglione with the hefty remainder to embark on this foolish endeavor in the first place. But he just had to run his mouth off about things he shouldn't have, and I got a little upset and found myself shooting him. There's a woman I care a great deal for who I left here in your country. I don't know how she feels about that, but Mr. Castiglione and others made some veiled threats in the past that they would bring harm to her if I didn't square up what I owed them. Mr. Castiglione...
You know where she is?
I know where I last saw her, but I don't know if she's left in the recent times, but I imagine she still is where she is. But Mr. Castiglione made some veiled references to him having personally touched her and hurt her. And I admit I may have gotten a little upset. As for the big fellow, he's a contingency. Because the way I see this going down is you let me take some amount of money. Enough to square away my debt, call it good. I will disembark the train before Albuquerque. The intention was to hop the train when it slowed down after passing through the nearest town, which he kind of like looks at his like watch, which I believe they are 5 minutes away. At 10:13, this train will be passing through Adamana, and it will slow down. Slow down enough that I might be able to not be too hurt by a jump. I'll hop off into the nearest town. You never have to see me again. As for the regards as to who killed Mr. Castiglione, well, this enforcer bodyguard Bosco he brought along, he's not to be seen. He's nowhere around. Mr. Castiglione had countless mob contacts. Who's to say that Bosco didn't work for an adversary, somebody who hated Vito, or maybe was an enemy of the family? Who knows? Snuck his way in and, as his type so eloquently put it, bumped him off into night before jumping out of the train in Seligman overnight. Yeah? Because I doubt the authorities will find where I left Mr. Bosco anytime soon.
Purely because I'm curious and not to sell you out. Where'd you leave him?
Well, fun thing about Bosco was he was sleeping next to Vito, so he heard of everything, of course, and he rushed in and is the one responsible for, he like points his 2 knocked out teeth. So, he struggled, he had a knife, I took it from him, got a good one in the jugular, I'd say, and he may have passed out from substantial blood loss. I opened the window of Mr. Castiglione's car and pushed him out, maybe 30 minutes outside of Seligman. Well, he's lying in the desert somewhere out there. Fully dead, right. I checked.
And there won't be much to find if they do go looking for him.
Exactly. There's no reason.
How much do you even owe?
I am... Actually, 1 second. I have the amount written down. Let me just do the quick conversion real quick. Let's just say that my extensive dealings over the past few years in this country have brought me into trouble with the law and bad people who I owe a great deal of money to. Not even talking about Germany, of course, being a criminal as well. I owe, last time I checked, let's ballpark it somewhere around $800 to my various debtors.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wouldn't happen to have a bounty on your head, would you?
Last I checked, I don't, only because I owe money to the mob and some other interesting groups. Sorry, Mr.
I might as well ask.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. O'Connell. I know that it is in your profession, but my bounty, if there is one, small potatoes compared to Mr. Castiglione.
Unfortunate that you cut my pay.
Yeah. My apologies. Again, it was not intentional.
Alright, so I'm gonna narrow this down a bit. All of you. This guy, you know him. Piece
Not
of shit.
Saved my life.
Just a desperate man who has to do what he had to do. I'd say no.
Mr.
Mason,
Haas.
you shot at him. So I'm making double sure that you know what you're talking about.
I did. Look, I'm not well versed in guns. A gun was pointed at me. I got you two out of the room. I panicked for a minute. I'm sorry about that, but like, do you understand the circumstances? We had a very, very rough couple of weeks, and running into you like that really
almost,
sent everything back.
you know, supposing to die will definitely put a damper on anybody's livelihoods.
Real noble of you, kid. But don't ever fucking do that shit again.
Vice words, Mr. O'Connell. Vice words indeed.
So, the way I see it, I don't give a fuck if this guy leaves.
Sorry, real quick,
I'll give a-
James. Sybil did want to say something to Mr. Haas. I caught her saying that, so go ahead, Kristen.
Mr. Haas, I don't get why you didn't just ask for help. You're correct. I don't need the money. I'm more insulted that you tried to rob us. You could have just asked.
Yeah, I could have. Unfortunately, Mr. Castiglione caught up to me before you exactly returned. I was made aware of your eventual arrival, but I had to convince Mr. Castiglione to not obviously kill me by promising him a great sum of money, not just to pay off my debts, but to substantially pack his pockets. Ill-advised? Yeah, fully, I acknowledge that. But unfortunately, in the circumstances, I did not have the alternative to ask you. Mr. Castiglione made a, let's just say, considerable argument for enacting things the way we did. Desperate times, desperate measures.
If it means anything, I genuinely wanted to help you.
And I appreciate that, Mr. Allen. I almost killed you. I almost shoved you off a train, almost put a bullet through your stomach. It's crazy what that thing does to you once it gets inside your head.
What do you mean by that?
You know what I mean by that. You know what it took. It was supposed to be my collateral. That alone probably would have covered my debts, but since I returned to these United States, I can't find myself parting with it. I can't give it up. No matter how much I want to. I just can't let go of it.
Just what the fuck is that?
Nothing you need to concern yourself with, Mr. O'Connell. Mr. Panday. Old business, relatively speaking. It just...
Old business indeed. Now, Kit is going to sling...
Yeah, he's still, like, clutching his suitcase. Like, heavy. But yeah, you sling your rifle back over your shoulder.
And Kit will approach and say, now, let me take a look at you. You look like shit.
He, like, turns the gun on you. Not, like, super hostile, just, like, in more in your direction. Goes, always the doctor, Mr. Sullivan. I assure you it was simply a glancing blow to the face. Mr. Allen, despite your size, you do have a very nice punch. Very solid. Perhaps in a different life, you could be a boxer.
Yeah, that'd be neat, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I assure you, Mr. Sullivan, I'm quite alright, but I appreciate. He, like, kind of shows you his face. See? Little more than a shiner.
Hope you don't have a concussion then.
He didn't hit that hard. Sorry, Mason.
Could have hit harder, but we were outside of a moving train.
Whatever makes you feel better.
So Neil's just kind of taking in like all of this happening at this very. There's a lot of information.
Same.
He's just having kind of a moment where he's just like, huh. So we're talking about Peru, and Mason shot at this guy, and this guy's name is Peter, and Peter saved Kit's life, but Peter also tried to kill Mason. But
James looks over at Chanel.
like he's not verbalizing anything at this point, but please understand that he like
yeah. Jackson turns to like you, Sunil, and like you, James, and kind of like takes you both like arms around the shoulder and says, I understand that this might be a lot. How about after this we get a nice drink, a cup of something, something to eat, and I'll explain to the best of my ability what the fuck is happening around here.
That would be very much appreciated.
Sure.
Thank
sure.
you.
Yeah, of course,
Thank you
anytime.
so much.
Mr. Haas, first of all, do you have it in your suitcase?
He kind of like wrenches his face a little bit, like he's like can't decide between a grin and a grimace and a pained, like sorrowful face. Just kind of just begins to like chuckle, just going. You know, it was really simple, Miss Cordova. Mr. Larkin made a very persuasive argument that I could just walk free with it, take it back and sell it, pay off my debts, more than enough. But in retrospect, I do believe he was more than aware that once I got here, I would find myself unable to stop. Unable to let go of it. And even still, I keep hearing a little voice in my head. It's a little worm telling me I should kill you. Just like an annoying, incessant buzz in the back of my head. It's what happened when Vito spoke. I just couldn't ignore it, and I shot him, but it's there. Burrows its way into your mind. Whatever it is, I haven't been able to let go of it. At all. Yeah, Miss Cordova, it's in my suitcase. Still there. Still there. Sucking in myself.
This answers my other question about the worm. So, I see. Well, I'd ask if you want it, but I don't know if that's a question you can really answer.
I want nothing more than to be rid of all of the things we experienced in Peru. And the funny thing, Miss Cordova, is that I didn't even experience half of what I'm sure you and your compatriots encountered. But here's the thing, I want it gone, but I just can't let go of this thing. I just can't bring myself to getting rid of it. There's something beautiful about it. I'm sure you know all about that, Miss Cordova. You too have seen what I have seen.
Beautiful.
And so have you, Mr. Allen. But I've had a bit more prolonged exposure.
Yeah, no kidding. He's got you all rattled.
Yeah, rattled. You Americans. So innovative with your words.
I have to ask. Are we good?
It depends.
I really couldn't care if I'm.
Yeah, he seems like he gets his composure back together all loosely. He goes, yeah, that depends. If you are willing to let me disembark stealthily with some money in my pocket, consider it a delayed cut for my payment as quartermaster, even though I was cut loose a little early. You can always peg it on Bosco. The evidence is loose, but without other examples present, I'm sure that the police will at least buy it as the best Mr. Barnhill could muster. You can all continue on your train journey, disembark wherever it is you want to go to, and you can all live your lives, and we can get the closest thing to a happy ending any of us wish for. Nobody needs to die or go to prison over anything that's transpired here. We are merely the sum of the events that have guided us here.
I just have one question before you go, and I'd be willing to let you go. It's that, Peter, what happens when you find her and that worm still doesn't shut up?
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to find her. I shouldn't do that. I know that's a bad idea. Especially because I don't know if she even wants to see me anymore. I did leave without a word in quite a hurry, so Perhaps she hates me, and perhaps it's for the better. No, I'll pay off my debts and I will happily fuck off to some small corner. But perhaps you are right. Perhaps the heart will long, and I will find myself pulled back. What do you propose I do, Mr. Sullivan? This worm, whatever it is, it's very persuasive. Gives me funny dreams.
I'm sure it does.
Interesting dreams.
How about you lower the gun, you let me take a look at you before you make your jump. I don't want to break your neck jumping off a train and just... Is that alright? Can I do that?
Give me a charm check. I'll give you a bonus die for this too. Because y'all have been pretty good so far. With a bonus, so... Yo! That's only 4 points away from a success.
I will use my luck points
Hell yeah.
to bring that down.
Clickety clack. Someone is typing.
Clickety hickety.
Clickety hickety. Peter like nods slowly. Gently lowers the gun. Kind of like lets his guard down.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. And Kit will, move forward and, gesture for him to, sit down on a suitcase and we'll do some first aid on him.
Yeah, he's still holding the gun, but he's no longer like pointing anywhere. He keeps just lowered by his side. Go ahead and give me a first aid check, yeah.
Once Peter's gun has been lowered, James is gonna go ahead and put his away. Well, not put away, but lower it.
Alright, so his hit points go up, but he gets 1 hit point back. Is that how that works?
I believe so.
Yeah, cool. He goes, you kind of get loosely tend to him, make sure everything's alright, kind of help him out. And he goes, "Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Thank you.
You saved my life once. If you trust me, I would want to return the favor."
Kind of nods a little bit. Yeah, sorry for pretending to be a veteran. That was probably not cool with you. But, well, times being what they are.
Times being what they are.
Mr. Allen, I'll be more than happy to return your gun to you. This small American thing, as soon as I am ready to depart, just as a precautionary measure. But I won't take it with me. So, if we're in agreement then, you'll let me fuck off?
Sybil scoops up the jewelry that he tossed across the floor. And she's like, "You talked about the worm. It seems to me that if you leave and you take money and the worm, that might not be for the best. I'm willing to give you this. I'm willing to help you with whatever you need. I'm just a wire away. But I don't think that you should keep the mask.
Peter,
please let
us help you.
Please let us help you."
First things first, I'm going to have Peter make a power check, actually.
Oh.
So, okay. So that was to check to see if that would... Now, that confirms that he is extremely hesitant to do so. So what that's going to entail is Sybil I will allow you to make a charm roll.
Charm, you say?
Hey, Sybil, guess what?
Ooh.
Hey, guess what? You needed a hard success for that.
Oh,
Yes!
oh shit.
Yes!
I was saying in my head, since he failed the power check, she's gonna need a hard success. You got exactly a hard success. So,
Sybil!
like, reaches
one thing
into
I'm
his
good
like
at.
his like jacket and pulls out like a flask. Unscrews the handle. For Sunil and James, you can actually see that he's missing his left pinky. Unstoppers the flask and takes a heavy swig from it. Take it from me, but I might try to stop you, so I don't know. I want you to take it from me. I want it gone. It's not so worth the trouble, but I don't know how I will.
I can hold you.
Tell me about her, Peter. Your love. Tell me about her. What does she look like? What's the color of her hair?
She's American. Somehow she fell in love with this old kraut. I was a Dodger criminal from Germany, and when I fled here, I met her.
What's
This
her
was
name?
back when I was doing rum running. She never had any problems with who I was. She knew. I didn't tell her, but she knew. And she was hair like the blackest night. Just eyes so blue, so deep they were like just two perfect oceans of clarity. She's beautiful. And
Are we able to get the mask from him at this time? Did he hand off the mask, or is he like? in the
as he's
process of being
talking,
arrested?
his grip is slowly beginning to loosen on his suitcase.
And
James.
Mason's just kind of like getting closer
Kit's-
to
Kit-
him.
Yeah, Kit is probably, once people move, Kit's probably gonna try and go for the gun to make sure nobody gets shot, seeing as
Okay.
Kit's probably the closest to him right now.
While
Right.
Kit's moving to get the gun, James is moving behind him to where if he puts his gun away, and if the guy tries to do any kind of crazy bullshit, because he said he might do some crazy bullshit, James will immediately restrain him.
And Mason's still like closer because Peter was pretty close to him with the gun. Yeah, like he not like holding him at gunpoint, but they were.
Yeah, pretty
real
close.
fucking
But he's
close.
had his gun lowered since Kit convinced him to.
Right.
Well,
and
your
Mason,
gun, I should say.
Mason, while just kind of like his hands like up. Right. Think about the first time that you met her. What were your first initial thoughts when you looked at her, Peter?
When I first saw her, my first thought was... he like chuckles. I wonder if I can grab her purse while she's not looking.
Then what was your second thought?
Surely I must have died because I'm looking at an angel.
Right. And Mason, Mason slowly reaches out to put his hand on the bag. Peter, can I take this from you?
Don't let him in, Mason. You mustn't let him inside.
Trust me, I put him on once and I'll never do it again.
No. You have no idea. He stiffens a little bit. However, when you move to take his bag from him, he actually does not. He like stiffens, but he pushes through it.
Okay, and Now Mason has the bag. So I'd say we've got about what, a minute and a half until the train reaches that spot. It starts to slow down.
We're starting to slow down now.
Okay.
A little
You don't
behind
want to get out
schedule.
here right now.
Just gonna jump off, leap off from here.
Sybil immediately like just digs through her bag, makes sure she gets like basically everything she got from Peru, which is basically just, bracelets,
Yeah.
necklaces, things like that. Gets up, just gently puts them in Peter's hands. Take care of yourself. Take care of her.
Miss Cordova, you do not have to give me everything you brought.
I don't need it. You were right.
Peter, you know who I am. Once I'm back in New York, you can just send a letter, something. If you're ever in the area, maybe we can laugh about this over drinks. Yeah?
Yeah. Drinks.
James puts a
Provided,
hand
of
on-
course, that your backwards country can sort out its prohibition laws.
James puts a hand on Peter's shoulder and it's just like, all right, if you're gonna go, you're gonna have to go now. Fall on your shoulder, roll with it.
Yeah.
And if I ever have to find you because you managed to have a fucking bounty on your head, you're gonna have to pay me back for what you got me lost now.
Mr. O'Connell, you are probably the first bounty hunter I have ever met, and I am thankful for it. He gives a small
Be
pat on the
happy about
back.
Get moving.
He gathers up his thing, obviously leaving the suitcase, and he just tosses your gun, Mason, by your feet, kind of back up towards the door. Thank you. I am sorry for everything.
I'm sorry too, Peter.
Thank you for not giving up on me.
I really did mean it when I said that it was good to see you again.
Despite convincing myself that I was okay with the idea of you all being murdered, admittedly, yeah, I am okay to see you too. Even though I was always... to be fair, originally I was planning to rob you, even in Peru, but it's in behind us.
I appreciate the honesty, but
Funny how that works.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully you do not have any more kind of side eyes to Neil and James. Vampires in your future.
I fucking hope not.
If our paths cross again, I should hope that it is not in the trail of whatever has followed us back. And he jumps out of the train as it slows down as it passes through the nearby town. It is at this moment that the fucking the door to the cabin swings open and Hector Barnell runs in and just goes, I heard gunfire. What happened? Is everyone all right?
Good news.
Everything's fine.
What happened?
Everything's fine. Murderer's gone.
What?
Dead.
Gone.
The big guy, Bosco, the one who was by Castiglione's room, the next cabin over. Found him
James
hiding
popped
out.
him twice. Fell out the side, and Mason points to the opposite side that Haas jumped out from.
That was a while back, though.
I wish I'd gotten to see it.
Sybil, Miss Cordova.
What?
Kid just shakes his head.
That being said, and he approaches Hector, gives him a pat on the shoulder. You should let me handle the authorities when they come in.
Hector looks over to Kit and goes, Dr. Sullivan, I believe I consulted you originally on this.
Yes.
Your verdict?
My verdict is Mr. Connell has connections with law enforcement in the area, so I would trust him to handle the issue. And of course,
much,
I
Doctor.
will be there to provide any other information to the police should it be necessary. You won't need to talk to them at all if you don't want to.
Well, shit, this is a mess. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll inform the passengers in the next hour or so that the situation has under control. They should not have anything to worry about. Once we stop in Albuquerque, I'll point the police in your direction.
Will do.
Everyone's safe, Mr. Bonnell.
Now, if you'd be so kind, as my job, could I ask you to leave the baggage car? It is off limits to passengers.
Absolutely, sir.
Absolutely.
Apologies for having to trespass.
Mason picks his gun back up, puts it in his pocket while carrying the bag. First to walk out.
James puts his away. Let's go.
Shortly thereafter, everybody finds themselves kind of alone in the dining car. It's now going on about like 10:30, 11. So no one's really coming in for lunch yet, but like a couple people hanging around, but the car is mostly empty. Most people are kind of like keeping to themselves. But you have all like picked out a couple of tables here in the dining car to sit at after the ordeal has passed. As a unit, Jackson walks over like an armful of non-alcoholic just drinks, juices, club sodas, just like sets them out to everybody. Nestles in sits in like next to James, puts like that like a friendly like arm draped around like the back of James's seat.
James, fucking right alongside it. He fucking loves this guy.
Full disclosure, that is most definitely not the weirdest train journey I've ever been on.
Oh, please do tell.
Another time, Miss Cordova, another time.
You know, I gotta say, same.
Hmm.
Although all the talk about vampires was a bit weird. I don't know what kind of code that was.
How about
Not good at all.
how about I put it like this? He like looks at Kit, Sybil, Mason. Do you mind if I regale
You're the author.
Mr. O'Connell, Mr. Panday? Allow me to tell you, only to the extent of which I'm going to publish about. Just to save you any head-scratching details and unsettling feelings. Just know that we went to Peru, dealt with a death cult started by some conquistadors many years ago, put a relatively quick stop to it, and moved on happy and richer. You comfortable knowing just that amount?
Got it. Death cult were vampires. As
Yes,
in,
you
I
forgot
cultists
the
are
vampires.
I did not
Whatever.
say that. I did not say that.
Vampires.
Oh, did they not call themselves vampires?
Well, they are technically called the Karasiri, but for the sake of my publication, I'm just going to be referring to them as a human death cult. Don't worry too much over the particulars. Don't stress yourself out. Miss
Oh, yeah,
Cordova,
of course.
if you want to tell him all about it, feel free. However, you need to understand that I'm thinking pragmatically.
You are by far the strangest band of people I have ever met.
There were vampires, and they drank human flesh, and it was freaky. And
They drank the flesh. They
Death
stripped
cult.
They
it
did
off
drink.
and-
They drank the flesh. It was pretty.
They
It was
put the flesh
absolutely
in-
terrifying.
Hold on.
A death
They
cult.
still
that-
kill
They
a
drank
mouse.
the flesh.
Yes.
As in-
There's the two mouths, and there were bodies, and there was a pyramid.
Jackson
No,
pulls
the
out his
first day I was
pipe.
hanging out with
Okay.
Jackson pulls out his pipe and gets a smoke and like shakes his head a little bit as he listens to all this, but he starts chuckling.
They
Sunil,
kill
like,
a mouse.
steepling
One
his
time,
hand.
Sorry,
one time
Sunil, what was
Sybil
that?
and I-
Sunil, sorry, hold on.
Sunil's like steepling his hands and he's like leaning further and further in, just like getting a little lower and lower, just like uh-huh.
James leans in, points a hand, like gestures a hand over to Sunil, looks him dead in the eyes and goes, I have to agree.
You know, I believe it was the second day that Sybil and I met. We actually walked in on a dead body. It was.
We
fucking
did.
crazy.
It was the most fun thing.
It was ridiculous. I lost my fucking marbles about it. I saw it, and then Sybil was like, "We should keep advancing," and I'm like, "Sybil, that's a terrible idea."
And I
she's
was like,
"No,
"You're
it's
just
not."
a huge baby. It's just a dead body."
And I wasn't being a huge baby. You know what there was? There was a giant circular bite mark on it, which we ended up finding out was from the vampire.
Yeah. At the very start, I said that there were going to be vampires, and everyone was like, "Oh no, Sybil, that's insane. There's no such thing as vampires." But there were vampires, and I was right.
Jackson,
There were vampires. There
Jackson,
were vampires.
Yes, Mr. O'Connell.
do you happen to have more alcohol?
3 more bottles, Mr. O'Connell.
Oh, thank God. Please.
If I
On
had
Mason's adventure with gambling, was he Was he able to possibly get his hands on anything while he was doing his gambling?
Make a luck check. I'll say it. Make a luck check.
A luck check, please. Thank God. Yeah, you did. You got your hand on something real nice. Yeah, obviously in like a small hidden flask, but it's some nice stuff. Mason pulls out his flask. As a matter of fact, I think I got myself a little bit of something too.
Oh, is our good friend here, our happy trigger finger friend, ready to share?
Gentlemen, Jackson stands up and holds up his hands. Mr. O'Connell, Mr. Panday, I understand that things are pretty high-strung, probably confused, but I think that the best thing I can do for either of you is introduce the pair of you to what is called a pisco sour. Now, I definitely had my fair share of these in Peru. Now, if I can go convince the chef over there to give me some of the fixings, I will be right back with enough pisco sours to make us all feel very happy and friendly. What do y'all say?
You're a
Sounds
genuine
like a
scholar.
fucking plan.
Love
You are
Fantastic.
Jackson looks at you.
absolute gentleman.
Jackson looks at you, Sunil, and says, Mr. Panday, I hope you're not necessarily off-put by the ordeals that we have dealt with today. By the way, you hit your head pretty nasty. I'd recommend talking to Mr.
I've
Sullivan.
been waiting for a moment.
I figured as much.
Oh, you're injured? Hold on. Let me take a look.
I'll say we're at
that's
that threshold
definite.
of like where it's just been an hour. Like
I was
from
as soon as we got to the lounge, I was gonna be like, "Hey, by the way, has
Yeah.
it been an hour?"
yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'd say that it's we're still within the area of hours since you took your spill in the cabin. So I will allow Kit to roll a medicine check on. Sorry, a first aid check on you to like get you to make you to bolster you a bit.
And Mason holding that flask. is kinda like-
I'll just go ahead and use a luck point to make that succeed.
Okay.
Mason holding the flask, just kind of like pops it open, takes a smell. Holy shit! Why did they make this illegal? And slides the flask over to Sybil.
Yeah.
Try it. You're gonna love it. I promise.
Ooh. She's
Moments
also-
later, Jackson returns with the
Whoa.
fixing, mixes a drink called a pisco sour, from the bottle he had, very nice, discreet, and hush-hush. And, the six of you are all just kind of clustered around this booth. Jackson smoking, you're all laughing, having a good time. And we're gonna end there for now. We'll end on a good high note. Victory.
It was really nice.
And nothing
Fuck.
else weird happened on the train, and everything was fine.
And
Well,
Mason,
That's it.
Mason
That's
was-
all of Call of Cthulhu, guys. We did it. We solved the
The
mystery.
stream makes it over now.
We won.
Real quick, before we close out here, to my cast real quick, did you guys keep track of which skills you succeeded on and checkmark them off?
Yep.
Yes.
I didn't succeed any
didn't
of my
roll.
skills except luck.
There's only one?
Like-
well,
Oh,
Because it was a
dodge.
dexterity check. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yeah. the only thing I
no,
did-
only skill checks. But actually,
Yeah,
before,
okay.
before we close out, I'm just gonna announce that actually completing this first arc of the mystery, you guys have like a 4-hour train journey, a 4 or 5 hour train journey, I think, still left to get before you get to Albuquerque. I'm gonna consider that interim as a development phase, so we can as we close one chapter, which during the post show of our live streams here, we do not upload these to YouTube. We will actually resolve those roles for improvement checks and stuff like that, and we will see you guys next time on Call of Cthulhu: Path of Perdition. Until then, Cthulhu Fatagan, and good night.
Really, Italian.
Dog.